Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached 420 chapters of My Hero Academia. Michael Malger, it's good to see you. Before I get started, so you guys can, just pay attention to my voice, I just want to say thank you for your continued support towards this channel, however way you show it. It still is an immense honor and privilege to do what I do for all of you. And I'm just glad that you guys enjoy what I do. I still get comments on people who like what I do and stuff like that. I thank you for your continued support because I wouldn't be able to do any of this without all of you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But let's go ahead and begin, shall we? Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another My Hero Academia chapter reaction and review. Last we left out on, we found out that Tomura Shigaraki's entire existence, not just the path he's been put on to be the symbol of hatred so that he could one day take down All Might and then take One for All. We once thought that that All for One was just grooming Shigaraki to be this symbol of hatred so that All Might could be brought down and One for All with it. No, we found out at first that he was merely grooming the boy so that he could become his brand new vessel. All the experimentations, all of his life's tragedies that's been dealt towards Tomura, everything that's happened to Tomura, leading up to us learning that he was going to be a vessel for All for One, was essentially orchestrated by All for One from the very beginning. When he said that I'm teaching him, I'm preparing Tomura so he can become the next me. At that time, we had a thought that, maybe All for One is saying the next All for One, like the next big villain. But no, we later find out that he essentially means basically turn Tomura into this superpowered individual so that he can then take over his body and rule over the world as a supremely powerful being with all these capabilities. And we thought that for a very long time, until chapter 419, where we find out that it wasn't just that All for One had a hand in with Shigaraki's life. No, we find out that this man literally is the reason why Shigaraki was born in the first place. So, we find out that All for One has been involved in the life of his former adversary Nanashimura's child's life for years. When Kotaro Shimura was growing up, All for One approached him and is literally the reason why Kotaro grew up hating heroes and decided to be more strict with his children. All for One is the reason why Shigaraki was even born. He coaxed and influenced and even told Kotaro that, your daughter is awfully lonely. It'd be better if she had a sibling. Literally, the reason why Tomura was literally conceived in the first place is because of All for One. Not only that, but he also encouraged Tomura's friends, Tenko at the time, Tenko's friends to like heroes, and even for Tenko to like heroes, while at the same time telling his father to be more strict with his children. And that of course is also helped by the thought that Kotaro thought his mother abandoned him and just gave him up, not knowing that she actually died fighting the very person he's been conversating with the entire time. So that juxtaposition of telling the kids to love heroes, telling them that it's okay to like them, but also telling the father, be more strict with your kids so that they don't buck up against you, causing the animosity between Tenko and his father. And then also finding out that the decay quirk we all thought was just an abnormal quirk inside of Shigaraki is not actually decay. It is actually a reverse-engineered copy of Chisaki's overhaul quirk, with only the restoration part of that quirk left out, so that quirk inside of Shigaraki is just nothing but destruction. And then we all know the rest of Tenko's life story. But to find out that All for One is the reason why Shigaraki lives, why Shigaraki destroyed his whole family, why he went down this path of hating the entire world, all of it was orchestrated by All for One from the very beginning. See, I compared him to Aizen, but even Aizen didn't fully influence the whole nature of Ichigo being born. No, All for One orchestrated the birth and overall lifestyle of Shigaraki from the very beginning. And now we're dealing with Midoriya, who's lost both of his arms, because what happened if you lose your arms in the dreams, you lose your arms in real life type situation he's in. Midoriya's arms are completely blown off. And as All for One is in full possession of Shigaraki's body right now, we now have to deal with the fact that Midoriya can't fight with his arms anymore because they're gone. But we get Sato, we get Sero, we get Ojiro, and amongst all these individuals who come in to rescue Midoriya from All for One, we get a warp gate that's not just fully black, but partially, with hints of white in it, as Aizawa Sensei walks through saying, "Sorry we took so long. Sorry to keep you waiting, Midoriya." So now we get to see chapter 420. Apologies if that flashback was a bit too long. Now we get to see chapter 420 from Aizawa, and we're getting a flashback. I told y'all that as soon as Aizawa came back in, there was no way they're gonna leave out the whole information about Aizawa and Present Mike falling through the gate of Kurogiri when he separated everyone. After Spinner woke him up, he separated everyone. Now we're gonna get that flashback. We're gonna see what happens. Let's go. Chapter 420 from Aizawa. And we have in the flashback Kurogiri, who's struggling to speak. And as this is going on, this is when he warped everyone away. This is when he warped everyone away inside the UA Fortress, way back when. And we have Present Mike going, "Wake up, you! Where the heck are we?" "Our comms are dead, so we're in the black about the war. We're in the dark about the war. Dang it!" And it cuts to Kurogiri, where he goes, "I am the protector of Tomura Shigaraki." And then it gets to Present Mike, who goes and grabs Kurogiri, going, "You picked a real great time to malfunction. Show some life, scum!" "If you ain't Shirakumo anymore, then do us a favor. Fade away and leave us the memories. We never should have put our faith in this thing's hands." And mind you, this is Present Mike who's screaming his heart out, and Aizawa's just watching. "Relying on this corpse to save us? Bad idea all along." And then as it cuts to Present Mike, who's preparing to punch Kurogiri, Aizawa stops him. And then it cuts to Aizawa going, "I see tears." "Nah, I'm a manly man. Nah, I'm a manly man." And Present Mike is, being real quick and trying to wipe the tears from his face because he's tearing up. Because remember, this body is still Shirakumo, his friend. But then Aizawa corrects him and saying, "Not you. Him." "It's raining, pal. Those ain't tears. This thing's a Nomu. It took you off the playing field since you've messed with Shigaraki twice now. End of story. Our priority now is switching it back on so we can get back in to fight. Once that's done, I'll go to town on this tool till it stays down for good. Aizawa, as far as spoils of war go, we drew a darkened dud here. So go ahead and forget about that little miracle back in Tartarus. We're 31 now, not schoolboys in UA's class 2A. None anymore." And then Aizawa speaks. "True, but he was a UA student when he died." And then it cuts to Present Mike, who's holding, it cuts to Aizawa, who's holding on to the head of Kurogiri. And as that's happening, we start to see the smoke around Kurogiri's head, changing. And then we start to see some eyes through the smoke. I am No, Shigaraki have to Why not tear us apart? Why not tear us to pieces with warp gates, or drop us to our deaths? And President Mike is just like wincing, closing his eyes because he doesn't want to accept the fact that maybe Shirakumo is actually in there. Who? Where? Shh, friend. And then it cuts to Aizawa, who's holding on to the head of Kurogiri, actually able to hold on to him somehow. That day in Tartarus, we reached towards him and drew out a bit of light. It blended with his darkness and shut him down. No amount of light can ever reverse all that dark. But darkness works differently. That's what activated him again. I know you know this, Yamada. We're educators in the hero course. It's our job to make sure UA students reach graduation. And if that's where his origin lies... And then it cuts back to... Shirakumo, President Mike, and Aizawa walk into UA when they were students. And then Kurogiri just erupts into like this big torrent of smoke in front of President Mike and Aizawa. I want to make sure that I'm unmuted. And we have a voice going, Yamada. And then President Mike just puts his head down going, those memories ain't ever gonna fade. As Kurogiri stands up, but his smoke head is not completely black. There's a little hint of white in his smoke head. And then it cuts back to some sound coming in with Sukauchi, La Brava, and everyone else at the command center with the voice going, Sukauchi, Eraser, you're still with us? Where have you been? Tell me, is Monoma still fit to fight? No, the boy got carted off for urgent treatment after a nasty blow to the head. Got it. In that case, give me an update on each theater of battle, plus all available personnel and their exact coordinates. Coordinates? Why? Oh, right then, because now he starts to see. Then it cuts to Aizawa, who just suddenly appears in this very same room where everyone is watching this fight go down, inside the evacuation center where ectoplasm is. Eraserhead, how did you come to be here? We managed to make use of Kurogiri. He and Mike are on standby outside the grounds. Gather up the heroes assigned to this evacuation and protection mission, leaving behind only the ones best suited to defense. Kurogiri, you say? I thought he could not be won over. There's no telling how long our hold on him will last. So get moving. And then everyone sees Eraser. All the civilians see Eraser and look at him. Ugh. You're offering a quick trip to the front lines? I'm in. Take me with you. And hold on. Is that Death Arms? There's no way that's Death Arms. Is that Death Arms again? That looks like Death Arms. I'm in. Take me with you.
Same here. I'm kind of a nobody, but I'm still a hero. Let me fight too.
And as it shows Midoriya at that time fighting Shigaraki, when he still had all of One for All in him, Aizawa just nods and goes, come to the main entrance then. And people are murmuring. And then that same dude, that same guy who was, being loud about Midoriya taking a rest at the UA fortress, he goes, hey, could you give this to a hero who's hurt? And he just takes the shirt, gives him the shirt off of his back. That's poetic. And gives it to Aizawa, and Aizawa just looks at him. And then everyone around him suddenly start giving them stuff, suddenly starts offering Aizawa stuff to help with the effort. Sure. Thank you. And then we have a voice going, most of the battles are already won. We'll reach out to anyone on their feet and able to fight. Then we cut back to the arena. Remember that location of battle where we didn't know what was going on and now we get to find out what happened? Things are still up in the air at the National Takaba Arena, though. The escaped prisoner there is a notorious criminal known for wide-range devastation and battles of attrition. Gashly Agu. That's a name. And the person who's here, the member from Tartarus, is like this. You know that black spirit from Spirited Away that had like the black body and then it had the smiling mask? It kind of looks like that, except it doesn't have a mouth. and this dude basically has like a hat on. His whole body is covered in like this black cloak. He's got like a book held up, and he has like this small umbrella right behind him. Gashly Agu, that's his name. Then we got other members of class 1B, and they're fighting him, going, "Yeah,
we're here to help."
One dude that has like blades coming out of his arm, and the other girl who's capable of segmenting her body parts into different ways.
We're here to help.
Then they're still. And then we cut to Aizawa, who goes, "Divide and conquer. Phase 3. And then we're here back in the present. Yo, this is endgame. This is endgame. Ain't no way you're gonna have an endgame reference. Changing chairs. We're changing chairs. We are changing chairs. Ain't no way you're gonna have an endgame reference where we cut back. Aizawa is Captain America. Oh my god. Aizawa is Captain America. And then warp gates start appearing all around him. On your left, Captain. They start appearing all around Aizawa. We're back in the present day now. Aizawa's there. And then warp gates start appearing all around him. Oh, like just the theme of when the warp gates, when the sling ring portals start popping up in Endgame. This is happening right now. But All For One is there, standing there, watching all these warp gates come in, going, "Come to have your quirk stolen, have you?" "Sensei, it's you." "Keep still." Because remember, Midoriya is still bleeding out because his arms have been dismembered. "How long since you lost your arms?" "Don't know. I'm not sure how much time passed in that subconscious space." Shigaraki had taken over All For One. Back at UA on that floating tomb, All For One was boasting about overcoming the resistant Shigaraki and achieving a perfect fusion of the two. When it was Shigaraki's turn, it didn't work that way. All For One got totally swallowed up. He was really gone. I thought for sure that smashing Tenko's spirit would break both of them. So how is All For One back in action? And then it shows Aizawa as he's looking at Midoriya, lamenting the current situation. And he takes what looks to be like a triangular horn, and he's holding it. And it's, oh my god. It's Ares' horn. It's Ares' horn. He's holding Ares' horn in his hand. And then we cut back to when Ares said,
"Aizawa-sensei."
"Oh, Ares." And then he's looking in shock as Ares has tears in her eyes.
"The teachers don't want to take me to the scary battle. I know why I can't go, but please, give this to Deku."
As she forcibly broke off her own horn. Mind you, the horn we saw last time when she was trying to run to help out Midoriya during that last chapter where Ectoblast told her, "Hey, you can't go." She somehow broke off her own horn. And it must have hurt because it seems like there's a little blood around there as well. So she forcibly broke off her own horn and is offering it to Aizawa. "You broke your horn? Why? And how?"
"I asked and got some help."
"Ectoplasm. Really? I do apologize. It was Ectoplasm who did it. But the girl has learned much about rational and irrational actions from you."
"You and the teachers helped me learn all about my power. All you need to use it is this. 'Cause it's a piece of me."
That's a rough way to go about it. You might have damaged your quirk for good.
"And I want to sing."
Because Eri remembers where Jiro was singing during the not the sports festival, but the class thing. I forget the exact name of it. Someone will tell me in chat. But she remembers where Jiro was singing, and she's all like,
I want to sing. I wanted to help All Might and Kacchan like this, but I couldn't." Sensei, Deku and all his friends did all that fun stuff with me, so once this bad day is all over, I want to sing for them. I know that I can't help a lot, but let me fight too!
As Aizawa takes the horn and jabs it into Midoriya's shoulder.
The accumulated energy is lacking to a nearly useless extent. Any target will be rewound slowly and not by a great amount of time. Still, it might give someone back 2 or 3 minutes, yeah?
Oh wait, this is Aizawa going,
Still, it might give someone back 2 or 3 minutes, yeah?
as we see Midoriya's arms being restored by rewind! Woohoo! His arms are gone! His arms are just rewinding back. And then Aizawa looks over and goes,
You can't die until you've heard her sing.
and wow, this is, oh god, this is such a good chapter. We're going to talk about it. We're not done yet. But Midoriya can only cry as his once lost arms are slowly being restored back to him. And he's just in tears. And then as this happens, people start coming through the gate. I see Gang Orca. I see someone else. I see everyone. We were all feeling the same way, I bet. Like we were down for the count, yeah? Then we heard about Midoriya busting his butt out here. So we got our own butts in gear. As it cuts to, we see Koda. We see Mineta. We see Kaminari. We see Shoji. And we see Yaoyorozu. Everyone is coming through the gate. Everyone who is physically able to fight. They're coming through the gate as Midoriya is still rewinding, but they're there to lend a hand to Midoriya. Mineta has seen some action because he's got a whole bandage over his eye, and he's all like, "Argh!" And he has like a bandage over his eye. Momo is just, she's hurt a little bit, but she's still able to fight. We see Koda, and he's got like this angry face on. We got Shoji, who doesn't have his mask on because he's not ashamed of his face anymore, or he didn't want to, during the how heteromorphs have been treated, he's no longer hiding behind his mask anymore. Kaminari apparently still used out so much electricity because he's all like, he's got that face on. And as this is happening, all for one can do is just give this glare as if
The riffraff have returned.
And that's the end of chapter 420. Everyone, this is that crucial moment. This is that crucial moment. This is that crucial moment. Death arms the absolute gall of him. I look at all the citizens doing something for the heroes because they see Deku fighting. Exactly, because in normal cases, citizens would have just been holding their breath, and waiting for the heroes to win. Now they actually see, like, it's just like that dude with the star-shaped growths on his head said, like, we were so used to being on the sidelines, watching everything happen. But now it's about time we start doing something. And now the citizens are seeing an opportunity to lend a hand to the heroes who are fighting for their survival. I like to see the change because it took Uraraka yelling at them, saying like, "What are you doing?" The speech that she did. I forget the speech. I don't want to paraphrase because I don't want to ruin it. But you see the change in the civilians. What started out as civilians who were left everything to heroes and thought, like, I'm just going to go about my merry way. Heroes will take care of it. I don't need to do anything because it's the heroes' job to protect us. Now you have the citizens slowly but surely seeing the opportunity that maybe it's not just up to the heroes to see that we live to see tomorrow. So whatever help we can be it us giving some of our clothes, some first aid, food, water, whatever these heroes need, it's time for us to step up. I love to see that gradual change. Like the change from how people were back at the beginning of the story all the way to where it is right now. Kitty, good to see you. Okay, so let me acknowledge everyone here in chat. We're going to talk about this chapter. There's no Jujutsu because that's on break. But Michael Malger, the Fallen Master, designs. I knew he gave the boy the quirk. Is it confirmed? Yes, it was confirmed in the very last chapter, near the last couple of pages, that All For One not only gave Shigaraki his decay quirk, but it's actually a reverse engineered quirk from Overhaul. We found out so many things. Look at the citizens. Okay, howdy, Kitty. Good to see you. I hope Eri becomes a singer when she grows up. I hope so as well, because we don't know. Because with what they're saying, with what Aizawa's saying, there could be a chance that Eri may have messed up her quirk forever, where she no longer has the ability to just use rewind due to her forcibly breaking her horn off. So, for all intents and purposes, she may not be able to use her quirk anymore because of what she did for Midoriya. Yo, Kitty, Subholster. I imagine Bane saying that to Itadori. You have to hear Eri sing, Midoriya. Then you have my permission to die. Good thing All For One can't use decay anymore. Yes, that's something that I forgot to mention. That was something that I forgot to mention. Let me turn towards you guys, because I'm always looking towards the computer right here, but I want to look at you guys. That's something that is very fortunate. When All For One said that Tomura's spirit, this battle is taking a toll on both Tomura's spirit and his body, and decay can no longer work. Now, mind you, that does not leave All For One out of options, because he still has access to his original. Mind you, remember, All For One's original quirk, All For One, is in Shigaraki's body. So All For One still has access to all of the quirks that All For One has. Like that whole stockpile that he's had in that body specifically, he still has access to. Mind you, however, it's a good thing that he didn't make it to Shigaraki, where he could input Blood Curdle into his body. Mind you, he has all the other quirks of One For All in himself, as well as his All For One quirk, but he doesn't have decay, which is very good, because all he'd have to do is just touch the ground. No one can really fly. All he would have to do is just touch the ground, and he would just be able to murder everyone instantly, and then that would be it. But it is a good thing that decay Shigaraki's body had reached just such a strong breaking point that his ability to use decay is just essentially gone. Decay is gone. That whole reverse engineered overhaul quirk, completely gone. So it's a very good thing that he can't use it anymore. Mineta actually looks kind of menacing for once, in the right kind of way. Exactly. He's not lusting over women or being pervy or anything. This man is like, he's like, you have the gall to put harm on our friend? Oh, I'm gonna throw so many of these great balls at you that you won't even be able to move. But it's good to see everyone coming in to help Midoriya, those who are able. Not just the class 1A, but literally everyone else who is able from hero side. Like, I saw Gang Orca in the back. Death Arms wanted to help out as well, even though he said, like, yeah, I'm done. Did they tell us who Deku's dad was yet? No, and I don't see that as being an important aspect of for the story. I don't see it, so I don't expect them to ever say who Midoriya's dad was, so I wouldn't worry about it. Deku might have his arms back, but he doesn't have One For All anymore. Exactly. Yeah, so that's the thing. While Midoriya may have his arms back, he doesn't have One For All anymore. So Yoichi's gone, so the whole stockpiling thing is gone, so I'm pretty sure he's basically back to being quirkless again. And in the same page as we saw Death Arms, there's a boy we saw that was holding something. He's the MC in another manga. Hold on. While Death Arms was saying all that, someone else was holding something? Oh, I see him. Yeah, the one that's saying, like, same here, I'm kind of a nobody, but I'm still a hero. The one that's right there with Death Arms. That's interesting. I wonder who that is. If that's a main character from another manga, first of all, what you doing there? But, yeah. Do you think Decay is gone, or do you think Decay will come back once Shigaraki gets control back of his body, if he does? I think Decay is gone. As All For One is the biggest aficionado for all things quirks, given the fact that he was there when quirks first formed and started to appear around the world, and he has a genius, beyond super genius level of understanding. Super genius level of understanding when it comes to quirks. If All For One says that Decay is gone, I would say that decay is gone. If All for One, a person who loves to just consume quirks and add them to his own, who understands quirks down to their fundamental levels, like the moment he gets access to it, if he says it's gone, it's gone. If he says it's gone, it's gone. I believe you're referring to Barrage. Barrage, is that his name? Midoriya's dad's a Toji-like character. I bet he will make a showing. I mean, it's one theory that keeps popping up and one hope that people keep having, but you gotta ask yourself, as much as people want to see Midoriya's dad, what relevance is Midoriya's dad gonna have in the current situation? You can't say you want to see this character unless they have story relevance. So I highly doubt we're gonna see Midoriya's dad just show up all of a sudden. Especially now. But who can say? We don't exactly have a date of when we're supposed to be getting the next chapter of My Hero, because Golden Week is supposed to be happening, right? Golden Week is supposed to be happening, so I wouldn't be surprised if we actually go on break for My Hero. His name is Astro. Let me see here. Let me see. No, that's a super move. That's a super move by someone else. I'm looking around. No. No, that's not it. So let me do this. Let me pull up 420. And let me see if they got it on the wiki so we can go through the synopsis. Let me get chat back so I can see what you guys are saying. Is there a summary? Please tell me there's a summary. Yes! Yes! We got a summary. No, that's the name of the manga, not the name of the character. That I don't know. Kyushu, let me cope. It's okay. It's okay. You go ahead and do you, Designs. You go ahead. MHA is on break next week. His name is Astro. Okay, so let me go through this synopsis. Let me read through it. After Eraserhead and Present Mike were teleported by Kurogiri after falling off UA, the three find themselves on a glacier far offshore because, yeah, they just get teleported in the middle of the ocean, off on like some separate glacier, and it's just the three of them. Present Mike angrily grabs Kurogiri, having no idea where they are and what's going on due to their comms being dead, yelling at him that he picked a great time to malfunction and to show some life. Holding his fist to his head, he continues venting that they never should have put their faith in its hands, and that relying on a corpse was a bad idea. Eraserhead stops Mike. Actually, hold on, let me go back to, because Kitty said, didn't Deku turn bad? I don't know much of MHA. No, he did not turn bad. He went on this vendetta going up against the members of Tartarus, who are essentially these max-level quirk prisoners that were under the employ of All for One, because at the time, they were trying to find where All for One was after he escaped prison. So Midoriya went on like this massive crusade trying to find each and every one of them, and he left UA at that time. And he kept searching without resting, without properly eating. To the point where his whole clothing, everything he had that was fine when he left, started to become so ragged that he almost appeared to look like a villain. And he was just so steadfast in that mindset that he didn't allow anyone to distract him, not even his own friends. So when he was seen through the streets, people thought he looked like a villain because of him using his quirks in a way that made him appear like his appearance looked like a villain. So he didn't go bad. It's just that he developed I need to do this on my own, I need to do this myself type of mentality at the time, Kitty. So he didn't go bad. He just went through that whole spiel. So back to the summary. Eraserhead stops Mike, saying he can see tears, and after Mike denies crying, he reiterates he means Kurogiri. Mike excuses that it's just the rain and that they aren't real tears, since he's just a Nomu, and he purposefully split him up before he messed with Tomura twice now. He purposefully split them up because he messed with Tomura twice now. Mike states their priority is switching him back on so they can get back to the fight. And once it's over, he'll take him down for good, claiming he's just a darkened dud, and to forget about the miracle they saw in Tartarus since they aren't students in UA's Class 2A anymore. However, Eraser states that he was a UA student when he died, and wonders why he didn't just tear them apart with the warp gates or drop them to their deaths. All the while, Oboro begins to slowly wake up through Kurogiri. Eraser continues that at Tartarus, they reached towards them and drew a bit of light, which blended with his darkness and shut him down. No amount of light can ever reverse all that dark, but darkness works differently, which is what activated again. He continues that as educators in the hero course, it's their job to make sure UA students reach graduation, and thinking if that's where his origin lies. Suddenly, Kurogiri unleashes a large puff of smoke, and after he manages to say Mike's name, Mike continues Eraser's thought that those memories aren't ever going to fade, as they see Kurogiri, with part of Oboro's face revealed, standing before them. Eraser manages to get in contact with Naomasa again, Sukauchi, as asking if Phantom Thief is still around, Monoma. Naomasa explains that Monoma is out of commission, having been carted off for urgent treatment after a nasty blow to the head. Eraser then says to update him on all the battle locations and to send him the coordinates of every hero who can still fight, causing Naomasa to react in shock, realizing what this means. Eraserhead arrives at the UA evacuation center, surprising Ectoplasm. I kept calling him Ectoplasm, but it's Plasm. As he explains, they managed to make use of Kurogiri, and he and Mike are on standby outside the shelter, telling him to gather up all the heroes assigned to the evacuation and protection of the civilians, leaving just a few behind for defense. He continues to say that they don't know how long their hold on him will last, so they need to get moving. Death Arms steps up saying he wants to help, alongside another young hero who also wants to fight by their side. One of the civilians takes off his t-shirt and gives it to Eraser, to give it to a wounded hero who may need it, with several other civilians also providing supplies, which Eraser thanks them for. Almost every battle has ended by this point, as they recruit all the remaining heroes who are still on their feet able to fight. The only battlefield remaining is at the Takaba National Stadium, as they are dealing with the Tartarus escapee known for wide-range devastation in battles of attrition, Gashly Agu. The heroes are struggling against his horde of puppets when... He has puppets? Hold up, what the heck? Puppets? That's what it is. That's what it is. I was wondering what was going on with Sato and everyone else. This dude's got, like, flesh puppets that he's manipulating to fight everyone. How did I not notice that before? I was so taken aback by the dude's name and his whole entire visage that I didn't even notice that they were literally in a sea of flesh puppets fighting everyone. Now, mind you, this is what happened right before Sato and everyone else joined up with Midoriya. So this is during that time, and it has more people coming in to, take over the fight while everyone else leaves. But let me continue through this. Let me see. The heroes are struggling against this horde of puppets when reinforcements including Lizardy, Jack Mantis, Ectoplasm, and others arrive and swiftly conclude it. Wait, they one-shot the guy? They one-shot the guy. Yo, Gashly Agu got introduced and defeated in 2 panels. In 2 pages. He got introduced and defeated in 2 pages. They're all like, we ain't got time for this. Let's just beat him up right now. They just took him out instantly. Okay. The heroes are struggling against his horde of puppets when reinforcements including Lizardy, Jack Mantis, Ectoplasm, and others arrive and swiftly concluded. Back in the present, Eraser declares it's time to start Phase 3 of the Divide and Conquer operation, as many warp gates begin to appear around the battlefield. All for One asks them if they've come to have their quirks stolen. And mind you, the way the warp gates open up, it's literally just like Avengers Endgame. Deku calls out to Eraserhead, who tells him to stay still and asks him how long it's been since he lost his arms, which Deku is unsure of as it happened in the subconscious realm. He thinks about how Tomura had taken over All for One, back at the Flying UA. All for One was boasting about overcoming Tomura and achieving a perfect fusion of the two. But when Tomura regained control, it didn't work that way. He believes All for One got totally swallowed up and was really gone. and thought that smashing Tenko's spirit would break both of them, so he wonders how All for One can be back in action. Just then, Eraserhead reveals Eri's horn. Back at the evacuation center, Eri approached Eraserhead, saying that she knows she won't be allowed to go to the battle, so she reveals her broken-off horn and tells him to give it to Deku. Eraser is shocked that she did it and how, as she reveals, ectoplasm helped her. He apologizes but explains that the girl learned about rational and irrational decisions from Eraser, and Eri says that since he helped her learn how her powers work, she knows her horn will work since it's a piece of her. Eraser reprimands her since it may damage her quirk for good, but she continues she wanted to do something like this to help All Might or Katsuki but couldn't, and declares she wants to sing, thinking about Kyoka, Jiro. Hold on. Yeah, Jiro. She says that Deku and the others did all the fun stuff with her, so once everything is all over, she wants to sing for them. And she knows she can't help a lot, but asks him to let her fight in her own way too. As Eraserhead inserts the horn into Deku, he thinks about how her accumulated energy is lacking, so any target will be rewound slowly and not by a lot of time, figuring it will give someone back about 2 or 3 minutes. Deku's arms slowly begin regenerating, as Eraser tells him he can't die until he's heard her sing. Emerging from the warp gates behind them are many heroes, including Class 1A, Students Grape Juice, Charge Bolt, Creati, Tentacool, and Anima, who declared they were all feeling the same and down for the count, but when they heard Deku was busting his butt out there, they got their own butts in gear. So the chapter notes of this is, it's revealed Eraserhead and Present Mic were able to reactivate Kurogiri. Eraser goes to UA Evacuation Center to recruit all the available heroes for reinforcements. They arrive and quickly conclude the battle at Takaba National Stadium against Gashly. Eri rips off her horn to give to Eraserhead so she can use some of her quirk to help Deku. Eraserhead uses it on Deku, giving him about 2 or 3 minutes worth of energy to regenerate his arms. Hopefully it's enough. All the remaining active heroes arrive on the battlefield to confront All for One, including Grape Juice, Charge Bolt, Creati, Tentacool, and Anima. And that is where we stand. Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the biggest turning point for My Hero Academia. And another thing we need to really think about is the fact that we're approaching the end of this story. This is going to be the final stand of All for One. There's no other further moment from this. We've already seen the final stand of the real All for One, the original All for One, and Bakugo bodied him. Even when All for One was using his most powerful amalgamation of quirks, he still got bodied by one individual, Bakugo, because Bakugo is an absolute unit. He is an absolute beast, and he wasn't able to overcome Bakugo just so he could blitz everyone and get to Tomura so he can complete the fusion. Now we are here with All for One creeping up once again in a body that does not belong to him, but now he's facing off against every single hero. Everyone. This is the last fight. Yes, it is. This is the last fight, everyone. Okay? This is where the fate of the world in My Hero gets decided. This is the last fight. Let that sink in. This is going to be the last fight. Can y'all believe it? This is going to be the year when My Hero ends. And it may be ending. I don't think it's going to end this month. I think it might end next month. My Hero might be ending in May. That's just what I'm saying. Because this is going to be the last fight. We'll get the fight. And then once the fight is over, we get the final epilogue pages. We get the final epilogue chapters. I honestly feel in my bones, I feel it in my bones that My Hero may be ending in May. This is the last obstacle, the absolute last obstacle. We now can say that every single fight, because at that time we had no idea what was going on at Takaba Arena. Takaba National Stadium. We had no idea what was going on. We was wondering why we haven't seen it in so long. Now at this time, we not only saw that everyone was getting caught up by Gashly Agu, but the matter has been resolved. The very same moment that Agu was introduced, he got defeated by members of Class 1B and literally everyone else, and then everyone made their way back to Midoriya in Avengers Endgame type style. This is the Thanos and his Black Order versus every available person in the MCU to fight against him. This is that moment, except instead of it just being Thanos and all of his friends is such a strong word. Thanos and all of his followers, all of his soldiers, it's just one man versus every available hero who's able to fight right now. This is the last fight. We're about to start the final fight for the fate of all of My Hero Academia. After that, it's over. After that, hopefully it ends soon and they don't do some next generation nonsense, let your story end and come up with new ideas and stories. I don't think it's gonna be like that where we get like the My Hero Academia next generation. Boruto is already doing that sort of thing, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not really big on Boruto. Not every single series needs to have like a next generation type deal, especially something like this. I'm glad Setsuna and Kamikiri got a moment, since the last time I remember them doing anything major was them getting destroyed by Bakugo, and that was during the training exercise of Class 1A against Class 1B, if I remember correctly. And that's also the same period in which Midoriya learned that he had additional quirks in his body. But I said all that to say this. We are now reaching... The playback wasn't keeping up with me accurately. We've now reached the end, the final fight of My Hero Academia. How it's going to go, I don't know. Will Shigaraki be able to pull through and wrest control of All for One? And then will Shigaraki stand down? There's so many things that could happen right now. But now we have All for One, who's going up against more heroes. You know, it's what he loves. He loves fighting heroes who just don't know when to stay down. Because mentally, in his head, especially when the original All for One was fighting all the heroes, he could not contemplate why everyone was so gung-ho on trying to come after him and they would not stop. Because it just bothered him. It bothers him when people persist. So, we are in a situation where All for One has all of his quirks, except for Decay. You know, the one that could end this fight in an instant. Now it's just All for One against all available heroes who have one specific goal: to beat him. They're not downtrodden. They're tired, but they're not finished. They are not feeling this feeling of despair and dismay, which is what All for One likes to hold over people, because he's a mind manipulator. He likes psychologically messing with people to cause them to feel fear of him. But there's not a single person who fears him now, because all they understand is that if we beat him, we win. And we need to make sure that we put down All for One for good this time. So, where we stand now, ladies and gentlemen, we are beginning that final fight, that final push, the last absolute obstacle. Oh, don't forget, All for One has danger sense. True, but at the same time, he may have all these quirks within his body, but that doesn't mean he has instant control of these quirks. Because remember, it was mentioned that while Shigaraki may get danger sense, it doesn't mean that he's going to be able to, you know, deal with the pain of danger sense and it going off in his head. So while All for One may be a genius, he still needs to learn how to use all his quirks accurately, and that's even if the quirks will behave properly in his body. That's even if that's the case. So we just need to acknowledge that we have reached the official final obstacle, endgame battle, whatever you want to call it, the final chapter of My Hero. Now, not the chapter, not individual chapter, but the final segment of this entire series. Now I'm just thinking about, okay, what am I gonna do after we're done with My Hero? After we're done with My Hero, we're done. And I've been thinking about it, and I want to let you guys know before I do my update video this week. On the list of series that I may be covering for this channel once My Hero is done, I may go back and, you know, continue to read Kagurabachi, along with Sakamoto Days. So that's on my list. I'll let everyone know in the community tab, and I'll also do my update video to let you guys know officially what may be coming to this channel as well. But those are two series that I have in my head and have in my heart that I kind of want to cover as well, especially Sakamoto Days. I've been hearing a lot of good things about it. Don't know anything about the story, but Sakamoto Days is on the list. Plus, All For One looks out of it. He looks like he wants it to end. He does. He has this look of just exasperation of like, these heroes just keep coming. Mind you, he's so good at keeping it cool, and being able to end situations instantly. But these heroes who are constantly hounding him, even more so than the individuals who had One For All in his body over the century, these heroes just keep coming, and he's just so tired of it. He just looks like like you said, just wants it all to end. But those two series that I mentioned earlier, those are two that I kind of want to cover on this channel. I know I've been doing a whole bunch of gaming streams lately, but I want to, keep things fresh and keep things switched up with, new stuff, Stellar Blade, new stuff from Grand Blue, Fallout 4 having its next gen update dropping this month as well. I want to keep you guys fresh with all sorts of things. Boruto should have ended at showing us a start that looked quite epic, but then they kept running and nerfing the old characters, and then they became about aliens. Designs, I could go on a whole rant about how I'm not too big of a fan of Boruto and just wish that Naruto ended and then just showed a preview of the next life, the future generation or whatnot, but I'm just not really big on Boruto. There's been a lot of things happening in the story that's been happening to my favorite characters that I'm just not a big fan of, and that's just been a big turnoff for me, which is why I stopped reading Boruto. I have no idea what's going on with the story right now, and frankly, I'm not really interested in Boruto or its like. So, should My Hero Academia end? Should let it be the end. Let it be the end. Don't have no new generation. Just let it end off right then and there. Let that be Horikoshi's magnum opus of his first manga or whatever. But I'm droning on. I'm droning on. I'm sorry, everybody. But this was a very good chapter. Seeing Midoriya's arms come back, I'm happy that he's getting his arms back, because I would have hated for his opening line of like, this is how I became the world's #1 superhero, and the man is the #1 superhero in the world, but he ain't got no arms. So I'm glad that they are giving his arms back so he can still have them. So, hold on. All of a sudden, the playback started to skip out, so apologies for that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how. Don't get me started with Boruto. I'm not. We ain't got time for that right now. I've already been going for almost an hour. I think MHA is like his second or third manga. I got to look into what else Horikoshi has done, but that'll be something I do later. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been a wonderful audience. This is a wonderful time to be enjoying My Hero Academia right now. It appears like y'all have mentioned that My Hero will be going on break. Next week, One Piece returns. One Piece returns. One Piece returns, because I can't wait to see what that next chapter brings for us after we went on that 3-week break. So can't wait to see My Hero come back. Can't wait to see Jujutsu come back. And I can't wait to see where we go from here. I wonder, will he get Overhaul's ability? Deku would be an absolute nightmare with Overhaul. I don't think Midoriya is gonna get another quirk put into him again. Because the only reason why he got One For All was, through a previous user of One For All. And the only way you're going to be able to get another quirk injected into your body is if you had Dr. Garuki do it. Because no one else really knows how to insert other quirks into other people's bodies. That are All For One. So I highly doubt that's going to be, the case. Let Midoriya just stay where he is. If he doesn't have any quirks or no more power in his body, let that be how he is. He started out quirkless. He goes through life with a quirk and then ends the story quirkless again. But he's, hailed as the greatest hero to ever live. So let's just see how things go first. Let's just see how things go. But I'm done. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been a wonderful audience. Thank you for your continued support of this channel. I wouldn't be able to do anything that I do right now if it wasn't for all of you. So everyone, you've been wonderful. I just thank you for stopping by. You didn't have to. You didn't have to spend the last 54 minutes with me, but you did, and I appreciate you for it. I love doing this, and I look forward to continuing more. Hope y'all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and even subscribe if you haven't already, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples!